claimants. We Are Spartacus says that tougher rules to assess how far people can walk mean many claimants will lose help with transport. Ministers say the benefit will be targeted at the people who need it most. Well, earlier I spoke to the former Paralympic athlete and crossbench peer, Baroness Tanni-Grey Thompson. I asked her what her concerns about the new rule changes were.
Well, really, the government have moved all the goalposts all the way through welfare reform. We were talking about people being able to walk more than 50 metres. The regulations came out before Christmas and suddenly it's dropped to 20 metres. So if you're able to walk more than 20 metres, you might not receive the same level of support as you have been in the past. And if you think about it, 20 metres is really not very far. It doesn't take into account, you know, how hard it is for a lot of people to get out of bed in the morning, get washed, get dressed. And I think what we're going to see is actually over 400,000 disabled people losing the support that they currently get just to help them be part of society. And I think it's quite short-sighted, actually, because it's going to push the cost somewhere else. The National Health Service are going to have to pick up extra costs, the local authorities, friends, family. And I think disabled people are going to be in a much worse situation.
Do you accept that some people out there are abusing the system currently?
Well, the Department of Work and Pensions' own figures say that it's only 0.5% of the claimants are doing anything that's wrong. So that in itself is not huge numbers. The disabled people are not the biggest part of the welfare bill. Yes, I do accept money has to be saved, but I don't think this is being done in the right way. And I'm also just really disappointed that when the Minister, Esther McVey, spoke in Parliament before Christmas, this 20 metres wasn't mentioned. It was only when the regulations came out. And to be honest, you have to sort of have an eye for detail to be able to pick some of this up. I think it's just been snuck out in the wrong way. And also I'm really concerned because there's 4 words that have been missed out in the regulations. We were told that these 4 words were going to be in the regulations, and it's reliably, safely, repeatedly and timely. And the government said, don't worry, those words will be in the guidelines. But in the guidelines, they don't have the same legal force that they do in the regulations, which mean when the assessments are taking place, there can be a huge amount of interpretation of those guidelines. And right now, I think what we really need to do is push really, really hard for those 4 words to be in the regulations. The government can do it, and I think that would make everybody feel much more comfortable with this change in distance.
And, well, what are you doing to persuade the government to make sure these 4 words go in?
Well, I'm kind of talking to lots of people about it. It's going before the Scrutiny Committee, Secondary Legislation Scrutiny Committee in Parliament tomorrow. The All-Party Group on Disability is also looking at this on Wednesday. And what we're hoping to do is you know, just to bring pressure on the government to say, look, you know, it's not ideal the way you've done this. I don't think it's very fair the way they've done this. But actually, there can be a huge amount of peace of mind given if you can include those 4 words. And I'll ask the government, you know, to think very carefully about it, because it could be over 400,000 disabled people who are going to be affected by this. OK,
very quickly, the online campaign group's called We Are Spartacus. Why?
Why is it called We Are Spartacus?
Yes.
I think it comes back to the film, you know, where everyone says, you know, I'm Spartacus, I'm Spartacus. It's about joining together. I'm not formally part of We Are Spartacus, but I do support their work. And I think it's just about bringing lots of disabled people together to say we feel the same way about how we're being treated.
Dame Tanni-Grey Thompson speaking to Simon Little earlier.